Doesn't matter how long you've been at Liverpool. There's always one challenge facing every player. Oh shit, sorry. Big up everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. That was a line from the amazing Jordan Henderson biography in every shit bookshop right now. Big up to the panel. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us today. This is the big Liverpool Arsenal preview. We got for the Liverpool side, apart from myself, we have got the amazing Ends Man TV. Ends, how you doing, man?
Big up, man. Appreciate the invite, man. Look, I'm here to listen to some slander. I won't take every slander, though. That's just fair warning from early. I'm here to listen, but if it gets too far, man, I'm going to have to jump down to you guys still.
We'll go have a bit of bants. We'll go a bit of bants. And again, he hasn't been on the show for a while. I haven't seen him in quite some time, but big up my man, Tarek. How you doing?
Hey, big up Jamie, man. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've been on either channels, but appreciate you for inviting me on. What a great time. How the things have changed since we were last properly talking on shows.
That's enough from Tate. No, big up to you. Totally right, my man. And my man, Egal, making his debut on the show. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, man. I hope everyone's doing good. Obviously, Arsenal's doing good. Liverpool, not so much, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, man. Where's that mute button? Right. Let's start this up. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys, and subscribe to everybody in the show, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Egal and Ends. Guys, we're going to talk to the Arsenal boys first. I need to ask a question. Did you boys see this coming from Arsenal this season? Because when we did our predictions earlier in the season, I think I had Arsenal finishing. I definitely had Arsenal finish third or fourth. I remember I was with T. I think third or fourth I had Arsenal finish. And I thought that was respectable. But I don't know about Ends, but I never saw this Arsenal team coming. Boys, let me know if you saw it coming.
You want to go first, Harry?
Yeah, I'll go first because I definitely didn't see it coming. Definitely not. Like, I saw improvement because me and Igal, we spoke a lot about this as well when we talk to Arsenal fans, that we have seen improvement and progression from last season. That was a massive step, and we was looking at, you know, how we were performing in some of these big games last season with our main players on our first 11, and we was competing with the big boys like Manchester City and with you guys to a certain extent. And then with the additions that were brought in at the start of the season, we're like, right, now this is where Arsenal can really solidify and push in the Premier League, solidify that top 4 spot, and maybe in the Europa League as well. But to see us challenging and being top of the league at this point in the season, absolutely no chance. The level has been taken to a next one. And yeah, no, not at all. What about you, EG?
Listen, I said that we were a couple players away from competing, right? I always said that this team is not as far away as everyone thought. At the beginning of the season, I made jokes saying that 40-1 odds, at least we have a chance, right? And now that chance has become more. I never thought we were actually going to win the league. I never thought we were actually going to compete for the league at the beginning of the season. I thought we were going to come third at best, and Liverpool would still be up there, and Man City would still be up there, and we'd be. I said this: if we get 82 points coming into the season, that is a great season. That's what I said. Now, if we don't win the league, it's a terrible season. I want to win it from here. I don't care. I'm putting pressure on the boys. Obviously, if the opposite happens, I'm not going to say it's a terrible season. But at this moment in time, we have to win it. We got to win it. We got to be in it. We got to win it. At this point, this late in the season, We got to do it. No 2-horse. We don't lose 2-horse races like certain people. Let's get it.
Oh,
Hey.
Girl, that's strike one still.
It's true though. Listen, it's true though.
Strike one.
Majority of the time that we lost to Man United, right? It wasn't a situation where we were close near the end and lost that easily. It was most of the time we lose at their ground, and that's it. At this recently, we haven't been in the title race, so we don't really know what it's like. It was just a cheap dig, but my bad.
You're allowed it. You're allowed it. Ends, did you see this Arsenal team coming? Because I got to say, from finishing 5th last season, a poor end to the season for Arsenal when it looked like they had top 4 all secured. The Spurs came from nowhere. Did you see this Arsenal team? But then, did you see Liverpool and Chelsea plummeting the way they have done this season at the same time?
Chelsea, 100%.
Not as badly as obviously we're doing, but it was on your show at the start of the season. I think maybe 2nd, 3rd game in, when I said I think Arsenal would be the one that challenged for the title if not win it. And I put us 5th because I felt like we played way too many games last season. We didn't really improve on the squad going into this season in terms of the midfield area. And even you'd say even in defense at times. But I didn't feel us go into like 8th and 9th. And then at some points I saw us in 10th. I did not see that at all. But look, hats off to Arsenal, man. They're doing their thing. I can't knock them. I did think that they would do well because I looked at what they were doing last season and then to the back end and I thought, okay, they fell off. And people won't like this, but I think Jesus is the one that's really transitioned you guys into like a proper challenge. The way he plays, and people used to knock him, but the way he plays, he actually pushes everyone else around him to play at that high level. And then obviously adding in Zinchenko as well, massive help to that as well. But you guys have only kind of got a first 11. So, this season is done well. You haven't had really a lot of injuries, so it's good. But, yeah, I think you guys will need definitely a better squad going into next season. But I'll give you guys it this season.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm looking at Arsenal in the league position as they play 29 games, 23 wins, 3 draws. Is that in fact they don't draw any games? It's all the wins. 3 losses, 70 goals scored, 27 conceded, 43 points, 43 goal difference, 72 points. They deserve to be where they are. There's no shadow of a doubt.
100%.
Boys, what is now? Obviously, the Arteta factor. A few last season there was a lot of moaning and groaning about Arteta and some of the Arsenal fan base. Some people didn't think he was the right fit. Did you guys always think he was the right fit? And if so, why?
I wanted him hired. I disliked Emery with a passion, and I never ever wanted Arsene Wenger sacked in a disgusting way. But Emery, I wanted him gone. Mikel Arteta, I backed him, and I was criticized numerous times. I was on so many different shows telling people back him. Granit Xhaka even. I was one of the biggest advocates for Granit Xhaka, even when people didn't like him. So it's like, did I see Mikel Arteta doing great things? I always thought Mikel Arteta was going to get us to a similar level to where Brendan Rodgers got you guys, where you compete for the league, and then he needs someone else to come in to push ahead. At this moment in time, he's exceeding even my expectations, where if we do and finish the job, then he surpassed the Brendan Rodgers for what you guys did. That's where I seen him eventually. I always said Mikel Arteta would have been our Brendan Rodgers. We would need our own version of Klopp. And I always compared our project to your project based on the fact that how quickly and how much of a job you needed to get done.
I think with Arsenal fans that weren't very much Arteta in, they looked at the things from the outside. They didn't look at the character. They looked at his age and the fact that he had inexperience and thought he's not made for this job. We need someone who's going to be coming in and with experience, with that know-how to do so. But if you looked from Mikel Arteta's very first press conference as Arsenal manager, he had the character to take that job. He had the character to begin this rebuild. And that's where I started believing. Even through the tough stages, even through those tough times where we knew that we needed to rebuild and get a lot of these players out and refreshen the squad, he had that character to do so. Being a manager is I think I've seen Gary Neville or someone else say 30% tactics. The rest of it is getting the players and the squad to believe and making sure the right people are in tune. That is, Miguel says a good point there about how we looked at you guys and your projects and how you built. That's what we did. That's what a lot of us did. We looked at how you were able to even sell off some of your best players and move on and progress the squad and take it upon level and level, building brick by brick without spending ridiculous amounts. Whereas we spent more than what you guys have. And that's been a surprise to us because a lot of the fans were looking at you because we thought that we'd operate a bit similar to how FSG were. But we got to give credit to the Cronkies, guys. They have spent money and they have gone for the top talents and pulled it out and even offered the big wages and not deliberated for these players, even when it hasn't worked out, like your Willians, like your new contracts for Aubameyangs. They've been able to cut them off and get them out of the club. Don't drain our resources. Don't drain the dressing room and pick us on. And that's what Arteta has, that ruthlessness that we didn't see and that nobody saw because he wasn't in the job. He wasn't in a managerial role previously. But if you was looking at this deeper within Arsenal, you could see us taking up to that next level. It's just about, was he going to be backed? And is he going to be able to do it in these big pressurized moments where he's learned so far and so far he has?
Mikel Arteta is also a little bit fortunate that the COVID season happened in the middle of his bad tenure, because if fans were in the stadium and the amount of pressure that would have caused with all the unrest, because majority of the negativity was happening behind closed doors, and that gave him a level of backing because everyone in the dressing room, we didn't know what the mood was around in the dressing room. All we knew is a lot of players like Ozil, Aubameyang, some of these bigger characters in the locker room were getting ousted by Mikel Arteta. And some clubs, you don't last if you're getting rid of the biggest names in the dressing room. Even David Luiz seemed to have had his ups and downs with Arteta. And he's the same guy who led revolutions at Chelsea to get managers sacked. So a lot of people were questioning if he was going to get the time. And it's good to see that the board stuck by him. And you know what? Credit to the Cronkies. A lot of people keep saying, oh, we were Cronky out just a couple of years ago. Yeah, you question them until they start getting things right. And at this point, they're getting things right on a massive level. Almost every single decision they've been making recently has been spot on. I can't name one bad signing since Pepe. Wait, I can probably if you count Lokonga, but that's it.
Willian, but it's not about not making mistakes for me. It's the fact that they have made them, but they've recognized them early. That's how you rectify it, because they're humans. They're going to make mistakes. The easiest thing to do was to sack Arteta when there was so much up. That was the easy thing. They didn't take the easy option. They made the right one in the end. So fair play to them, credit to them. But we can't be giving too much. We can't be saying really thankful, being too thankful until we get that trophy at the end of the season, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, I was just looking here. Apparently, Arsenal have spent 278.3 million since the start of summer 2021. That's more than Man City, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham, and Liverpool, who have spent significant less in that time. I mean, Ends, what do you reckon about that?
You have to look at the context. We spent the most money in the season after COVID, and people said we spent 158. What was it? 300 and how much was it? 300 or 158? We spent a lot of money, and then everyone said we didn't improve because we had Tomiyasu, we had Odegaard, we had Ramsdale. We signed all these players, and people were laughing. They're saying you're going to get relegated because we lost our first 3 games, and all these players haven't come in yet. It was a situation where no matter how much money we spent, people still never seen us improving because they were questioning the signings, they were questioning the decisions. And you probably already seen it. Every single signing we made, people laughed at. Odegaard, people were laughing at him, even though because they were saying he had a bad time. Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, people called Tomiyasu the Japanese Hector Bellerin.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't even know that as well.
I didn't even know that, to be fair. I don't, because
who didn't rate Odegaard though? You saying
I don't know who didn't rate
This is what happened with Odegaard. James
player.
Madison, 80 million. Yeah. Odegaard, Real Madrid, 35 million. People, I even wanted Madison. I regret even saying that. The situation was Arsenal, had this tier 1 of tier 1 named AFC Bell, who got the Partey signing spot on. Rewind, before we signed Odegaard, he said Arsenal are going to sign Madison. I will put my account on this that Arsenal will sign Madison. He had a 300 plus Twitter account. tier one for Arsenal, hasn't tweeted about Arsenal since we signed Martin Odegaard.
Yeah.
I mean, Odegaard's a tremendous player. Go on, Ince.
In terms of the money, it's not really hard. We're on that list. I don't even know why we're on that list, to be fair. But when you guys spent when you guys spent your money, you spent it wisely. And I know a lot of the players you guys bought, and sometimes that's what it takes, because when we went through that same stage about signing new players, we signed players that no one really rated. Virgil, people are like, we overspent. People didn't really rate Alisson because obviously the game before we tore at Roma, and it's like, oh, this guy that conceded 5 goals and getting lobbed by Salah and stuff, this is the guy you're signing. Fabinho, no one rated when we signed him as well. So it's the same thing when you guys signed your players. No one really knows them. It's only the footballing people you can really have that conversation with, and you'd be like, oh, no, he's a good player, and I understand why he's a good player. The fan base that, shouts out the big names, and because you don't get the big names, those are the ones that just want to see big names. They don't really see the project and how these players are going to fit into the team. So now, man, I saw so much in terms of what we did as Liverpool to what Arsenal's now doing. It's just the next step. I want to see if you guys can actually make the next step. And that next step is, you're going to be in the Champions League next year. How far can you go? Can you transition with Champions League and Premier League next season, defend your title if that's what you guys
You're
win?
going to have better players, though.
Yeah,
you realize
it's easy saying that. I get it, because obviously you might be champions, but at the same time, the players that you're now going to be in the market for are the exact same players that other teams are going to have the same thing.
That's not necessarily true. Arsenal, even though we can pay a lot of money, the reason why we paid so much money previously was because we needed to sign 5 players, 6 players a window, 7 players, even some windows. That's what we needed every window, ridiculous amount of players in every single position. Now we actually have a first 11. It's just fix the rest of the squad. Slowly embed in 1 or 2 players, push Xhaka to the bench, push Partey to the bench, push like we push Kieran Tierney to the bench, find somebody who can push some of these other guys to the bench, and then that's how we are going to build our squad. And we are not going to drop 150 million on an Enzo Fernandez like Chelsea did. We're going to drop maybe 80 to 90 million on a Declan Rice, another 40 to 30 million on another forward player to bring into the front line, like we did with Trossard. We're not.
But that's what I mean, though, Miguel. At the same time, these are players that you're gonna compete with other teams for. So Declan Rice, I know it looks like, okay, Arsenal's linked with him, but so is many other clubs in the Premier League. And I guess obviously you guys are gonna have that little pool being maybe champions at the moment. But at the same time, it's not just about that. It has to be about availability. Where is he going to play? Is he a first teamer? What is his wage package? It's just going to be so many different.
We don't care about that. We don't.
No,
care
but I'm saying the players will care. I'm not saying you guys will care.
This is what it is. When you come to Arsenal, you are sold on you fight for your place. Even if we spend 100 million on you, you have to fight for your place, because we've had players that under Mikel Arteta who have one of the highest wage bills, that is the captain of the club, that decided not to fight for his place and he got kicked out. So everyone in the dressing room knows, even if you're Gabriel Jesus, you just got signed, Trossard might start against Liverpool because of that, because he has better history with Liverpool. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you come from. Thomas Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, Fabio Vieira, doesn't matter. On merit, you're gonna play on merit. If we sign you, spend 100 million, doesn't mean you're gonna start week in, week out.
This is what I'll add on for what Enz was saying, because it's how we're signing players, because it's a good question. That that is the next step for Arsenal, is competing in multiple competitions, because we haven't done that yet. We haven't done that from the very first day when Mikel Arteta came. We won the FA Cup. We focused on that and we got it done. We focused on the Premier League last season. We had that and we didn't get the top 4, but we were close to it and we have made real strides. Now that's where Igal and kind of what you were saying there in terms of signing players, Arsenal just want to sign players that want to be at Arsenal now. That's the first and foremost. If you want to be here, we'll pay you the wages. If you're out here with other clubs, don't worry. We've got alternatives, and our alternatives are the reason why we're here now. And yeah, man, it is going to be more difficult because the level of the squad is higher, so it's harder to find the players that are going to make the difference. And it's not even necessarily about pushing players to the bench. It's about competing for spots, like what Trossard's done in coming into the team, making it difficult, raising the level of Martinelli. There's no coincidence that Martinelli's level was raised for his little spell where he wasn't quite at his best. he was raised. Xhaka's performance raised because the level around the squad. So yeah, that's the next step, and we're confident that we'll see that because of what we've seen already.
Just a quick question and just a caveat onto that as well. I see you guys going down the same predicament where not what we're in now, but where I saw us going into. So like you got Saka, you guys think he's obviously the greatest of all. I see that the same thing with Salah at the moment. We never really got not a replacement, but someone that could battle with him for that position. And I can see you guys doing the same thing, and don't do that. Over on the left hand side, we did that with Mane when we got David Luiz, Diaz in. And you guys have now got Trossard in to compete with Martinelli. Do you guys see that? Are you going to get someone? Because you talked about, we need to fight for players need to fight for their positions and stuff. Are you going to get a player to help, allow Saka to fight for his position?
Understand this team still has levels and gears to go up to, and we have players in our squad. Unlike Liverpool, I think the difference in comparison is where you guys need other people to push them. I agree. We need them too. We need those similar profiles or players that can change it up and you can slot in there. But the age profiles of our players is different also. Where you guys are in your peak or near the end of your peak with some of the players, majority of our players are just starting to get into those years where you start to say maybe they're in their peak. A lot of these players are 5 or 7 years away from getting to 27. That's most of the time where players' peaks are 27, 29. Bukayo Saka's what, 21? He can play as many games as he wants.
But that still doesn't stop burnout though as well, though, guys. That doesn't stop burnout.
You see what we know has said there? To be honest, Arsenal we have been linked with right wingers. We were looking to sign Rafinha. We are looking to do that. I think we're.
Don't get Rafinha.
No, not him. But I don't think we'll get him now because he's doing quite well at Barcelona in the second half of the season. But I think Arsenal. Yes, we've looked at your model, but we've also got elements of Manchester City in terms of, I think we'll have rotational players. You won't see the same players starting every week. You've seen that now because that's Arsenal had to build a first 11 first. That's why we've had to make sure that level of that team is there. And look at this already, the difference from last season when we played you guys, we needed our best players fit. We needed our best players firing. If they weren't, the level of the squad dropped. Rolling on to this season, Gabriel Jesus gets injured, Zinchenko gets injured, Partey gets injured. Arsenal are still able to maintain a high level, not our peak. Like when we played against City, we missed Partey and Jesus in that game, but we are still able to maintain, and that's just going to continue. And the direction of the club, I think we're not going to make that mistake that you guys made because our owners are willing to spend money in a way that FSG aren't, and that they don't do. They look at recruitment differently to how we do.
Yeah,
you know the main reason why the ownership situation changed? They have full ownership. If you rent a home, you're not going to invest money into the home and then renovate it. But if you own the home, you're going to treat it like a prized asset and you're going to reinvest in it. You're going to then fix the garden. You're going to then extend a part of the house. You're not going to do that if you don't own the home. So that's how they viewed Arsenal Football Club. Unlike some of the European counterparts who are part owners but spend money like Roman Abramovich.
But to be fair, your owners took your time to spend money though, didn't they?
Bro, they took 10 years plus before they started spending money.
Look, do you guys think Arsenal have taken the Premier League by surprise this season, like the teams in the Premier League? So, because I think Arsenal probably go on and win the Premier League title this year. Do you think next season is where we start to judge where this Arsenal team is? And see what, because I think everyone got caught out by this Arsenal team being where they are at the top of the list. And I'm not saying you don't deserve to be there, you do. I think everyone's been caught out by it. And next season, I think more teams are going. Not that they're not taking Arsenal seriously, because that's madness to say, but I think you know what I mean by it, because where Arsenal have been in the last 2 years. More teams are going to look at Arsenal next season and go, right, they're like the top club, so we're going to take them more seriously in a way. Do you think next season's going to be where we see where this Arsenal team under Arteta is going?
Yeah, this is a sport, and this is everything in sport. Being the champion, but But maintaining it, that's the hardest part in any sport. Boxing, football, you know, anything that you watch. When you're the champions, when you're at the top of the mountain and everyone's looking at you, they're going to set up for you differently. You're the game that people are going to look at. That's the challenge for Arsenal. It's like you guys, man, look at the level you were at in the season you won that Premier League. Wow, that was amazing. You know, like you were unbeaten up until February. You were relentless. You looked unstoppable at points. And then the following season, I know there's other factors, but the main thing is it's hard to maintain that. This is why we talk about Manchester City being, you know, the juggernaut that they are. They're on course. Like if they win it, that'll be their third in a row. That's the hardest thing to do in elite sport, is maintaining yourself at the top, maintaining that motivation. First of all, it's not just the quality. It's not just improving on the quality and making sure, but the players are going to have that same hunger and desire. That's hard. That only comes from the elite level and the best.
Disagree.
In class.
I think what this season does is similar to Liverpool, similar to Man City. It creates that fear factor. It creates that fear factor where now opponents they look over and they say, yo, that's the Arsenal team that just broke the Invincibles like points record. That's the Arsenal team that's considered on points the best Arsenal team in the Premier League like history based on points. If we continue to go on this level. Like that's what people are going to start looking at this team as. They're going to start saying to themselves, we have to respect this team. Because before you would come to the Emirates, you would somewhat expect a good game. Now people are coming to the Emirates, they don't expect anything. Now we're going to away games. People are saying, as long as we don't concede early, we have a chance. That's what people used to say. Now they're like, in the 90th minute, let's just make sure we don't lose 4-0. That's the difference. And
it works.
The fear factor is back.
Yeah, no, it works both ways, bro. You're right in that context, but it also puts teams in that same as what Jamie's saying, same as Tariq's saying, is teams are now going to set up differently to you guys next season. We saw that at Liverpool. Every time when we blitzed the season, as soon as the next year landed, everyone was like, okay, now we'll give you the ball. We're just going to sit in and it's your job to break us down and then we'll just hit you on the counter attack. And it's just about how Arsenal can cope with that, being frustrated in games where they're not allowing you to do anything. Like all your tick-attack, now it's in front of the team instead of it's in behind them. So it's gonna be different. Yes, there's gonna be teams that's scared of playing you guys. Yes, you're gonna blitz certain teams. Yes, you're gonna come up against teams that's gonna go toe to toe and you're gonna blitz them. But there does come a point when teams are gonna be like, okay, that's how they play. And then when that happens, that's when frustration, that's when you're going to look at your manager and go, because that's the same way we're looking at Klopp now, is can he change the tactics to kind of, because now they figured out how we play, can he change the system or change the tactics or the personnel to suit the game? And at the moment, he's not doing that. But Arsenal are not in that predicament at the moment, so they don't need to. But for the years to come, they will do.
I'll say to your ends, we do face a lot of low blocks already. Their teams do adjust in that way for us now. Like, look at most of the games that we played at home this season. Teams have been set up in a different way and setting up in a low block, and we're the ones causing to break them down. Whereas I think that's not going to be the challenge. The tactical element isn't the thing I'm worried about. It's about the hunger and the desire for people to move forward. Pep Guardiola says it himself best. When I have players that become champions, they're the hardest to teach and the hardest to keep motivated. It's the reason why Raheem Sterling left. It's the reason why he's fell out with João Cancelo, because it's hard when people change. When you win, people do change, and it's hard for them to have that same hunger. I think the reason why Arsenal are here where we're at now is because of the pain of last season. That gave us that drive, that determination. We can't take our foot off the gas in a mental aspect. Arteta won't. I'm not worried about him tactically in that sense. It's just about the players that are coming in. Are we going to continue to keep getting the right characters that are going to raise the level and drive the squad, not from a technical point of view or quality, but from that sense?
So if you guys win it and then it's a relief, sorry, Gil, if you guys win it and then it's a massive relief, like off the shoulders of these players, like, oh, finally we've won one. Do you think that affects them going into next season, or do you think it goes another gear, clicks in, and then they'll go again?
I think it affects everyone around us, because they're going to look at the situation at Arsenal. They're going to say to themselves, how did these guys leapfrog us? Because Chelsea were looking at us a couple of years ago, last year, laughing at us. You had Tottenham laughing at us. You had Liverpool laughing at the chance of playing at us, because every time it was an easy game. The fact that we've done this, you have to look at the character analysis of our signings. Majority of the signings that we made similar to what Jose Mourinho said when he was making his Porto team that won the Champions League. He didn't want to sign the big fancy names. He went and got the people with a chip on their shoulder. He got a bunch of young academy players to install that homegrown effect. And then to icing on the cake, he added those experienced pieces, the Zinchenko's, the Gabriel Jesus's, the Jorginhos. And as much as you guys want to make maybe say this is not an experienced player, Trossard coming from Brighton, Premier League proven, 27 years old, already working with some of the Arsenal setup in Germany, in Greece with Genk, coming into this Arsenal team, being a captain who led Genk to win a league himself, adds a little bit more experience to this team too. And I might be underselling how young this team is at times. This is the youngest team in the Premier League, and this is one of the youngest teams in Europe, and they have one of the highest points totals in the top 5 leagues. They're only the sky's up. But to say that we're going to be able to win it again next year is too early for those conversations. Let's win it now first, and then we'll talk about next year.
What do you guys? Obviously, a lot of talks is just saying you guys are like Leicester, really, just one season wonders. You've had a fit team majority of the season.
That is
a
ridiculous.
fit team for the majority of the season, and you win it.
That is
and
ridiculous.
no one else is really competing with you guys. So
that is ridiculous.
No, I'm just saying that's the talk on the streets.
I'm sorry, you're trying to trigger me because the reality is that Leicester team. We win against Liverpool. We have more points than that Leicester team, and we have 8 games to go.
But the target's still the same. They won the Premier League, so it doesn't really matter.
But to compare, we're comparing the level of consistency. Also, number 2, everyone keeps telling me how good this Manchester City team is. Who was actually competing against Leicester? Nobody. Based on the fact that they had nobody really that was close to them in points at the end of the season. This City team could potentially win the Champions League, could win the FA Cup, could win the league, and get a treble after going 3 seasons in a row. They could historically be the greatest City team of all time. And we're comparing Arsenal to Leicester. That's underselling City. That's underselling the team that you competed with.
But you can't say that Man City is the same team that Liverpool's been facing. This team can't even string like 4 wins together in a row. When I'm talking about the City team that's stringing 11, 12, 13 wins on a spin. They've not done this year.
They've gone 7 in a row.
Yeah, but
they've gone 7 in a row. And how many losses and draws do they even have this season? The reality is, I feel like we're underselling City to basically discredit Arsenal's potential win. That's what we're doing, because when it comes to this City team, has less points than the City team that beat you the first time when you guys were close to them. This City team has as many points as majority of teams that have won the league in the past, and actually are on pace to finish with the 7th or 8th highest points total in Premier League history. That's this City team that everyone's saying is not good.
What I'll say is, because for that, like Igal's raised some very good statistics there, because they're true. The people are getting confused with City. They aren't as efficient as they were when you were competing with them just last season, even because their team was a lot more efficient in terms of getting goals in and around the pitch. And they are more susceptible now because they are not totally reliant, because we saw it last week, but they are more reliant on their goals from one source. Whereas that don't get it twisted. Guys, they could win a treble this season. At the end of the day, they are still competing for 3 trophies, and they are on a ridiculous amount of points still. It's just that Arsenal have done even better than them. Like, that's the thing. 38 games will tell who wins the league. That's why this game, Arsenal versus Liverpool, Man City beat you last week at their ground. We beat you, but they lost to you at your ground. Just like how they lost to Spurs, but Arsenal were able to go and grab the win at Spurs. This is why this game is a huge test. I know we haven't quite gotten into it yet between both sides, but if we do win this game, I've said it on the Gals channel, if we win this game, we win the league. I'm saying it.
You want to know something? Everyone keeps saying one good season. Yes, it's one good Premier League season based on the fact that we haven't been as consistent in the last couple of seasons. But when you actually look at the calendar records for the last 2 years, from starting of 2021, 2022 to 2022 to 2023 till now, you can see a dramatic improvement in where we are based on the calendar year points total. We're actually only a couple points behind Manchester City. And actually, in the last 2 years, if you exclude this season, we have almost as much points as Liverpool did last calendar year. we were literally like 1 point off Liverpool last calendar year. So
it
it
makes
just goes to
sense
show
when
the
you
level of
put those
consistency we're
years.
on.
It makes sense when you put those years in there. But if you stretch that to 5 years, what's your points total then? It doesn't come close. I get you guys are doing well. It's fine. You guys are doing well, but
I'm
it's only
comparing
been one
myself to the
season.
barometer. Don't understand. Liverpool and City were the barometer for the last 5 years. So for myself to compare myself to you guys, it's a compliment. It's not an insult.
Right, let's move on a little bit because I want to ask one thing. I don't mean this as an insult, guys, so don't worry. Like, is this a weak Premier League this year? Now, I'm not saying that because you're top. I'm not saying that because you're top. I'm talking about as the league in general, because I'm looking at. I'm not. I would say that if Liverpool were on top, to be fair, that I think the Premier League is slightly overrated. It's the most exciting league in the world, but I don't know if it is actually the best in the world because you look at a lot of European success from other teams. You got. Is the Premier League slightly weaker this year, guys? Let me know.
Can I say this?
Go on, yeah.
They say this every year. Every year it's said. Nostalgia is killing my people. That's the reality. The points totals, the actual games itself, the competitiveness is getting crazier. Just look at the relegation battle. Almost half the league is in a relegation battle. Almost half the league can get top 4 at times. And in this season alone, you can see that Chelsea's dropped off. Yes, you can say Liverpool's dropped off, but the people who've replaced those teams have a similar amount of points or maybe even more. The top 4 race last year, Tottenham last year, and Arsenal, the top 4 race was a lower points total than this year. The title race last year is a lower points total than this year. The relegation has a higher bar than this year. Just to tell you, based on what you're saying, the competitiveness has increased. Hence, this league is not actually a weaker league. It's a stronger league. It's just some of the historical names like Liverpool and Chelsea are performing a lot worse. And some of the teams that like Newcastle, Brentford, and Brighton are performing a little bit better.
The only reason I say that, because the points thing can add up sometimes, but also the points stuff can be a lie at the same time in a way. Like people say the league don't lie when sometimes it can. And I look at Man United in 4th. Man United are dog shit, right? They've lost 7 games this season, yeah? I think they're only 4 points better off than they were under Ralph Rangnick last year, and they were nowhere near the top 4 last year. And that's what I'm trying to say about it. You know, I think the points are quite even between a lot of the teams because I think a lot of the teams in this league are quite the same.
Jamie.
You know, so you've got
Tottenham were dog shit last year. Arsenal were
that's
dog shit last year.
And Newcastle, look, Brighton are 6th in the Premier League. Yes, they got some good players, but they're not a 6th place. I just feel like I look at Matt. It's not about you boys. You boys deserve the title, so don't worry about you boys. I'm not good. I'm talking about the league in general. You know, Man United are nowhere. Man United have lost 7 games this season in the top 4.
But look at their home gate record.
And it's the point sometimes. You know, I'll put it this way. One of the best darts finals I've ever seen in the BDO was against a fat old bloke and a geezer that looked like he was a bit of a window licker, yeah? Right? And it was one of the greatest darts finals I've ever seen in my life because it went to like 11-11 and it was exciting and it was great. But in reality, it was exciting and great is because they were both average and they were just having an exciting game. But it'll go down as one of the best finals of darts of all time. But if you put them in the PDC against the best of the best, they wouldn't even qualify for their World Championship. And what I'm saying about the league, I look at it right now and look at the points totals. Points totals can be good when all the teams are pretty much amongst an average lot. And again, this is no disrespect to you guys. You're on 70-odd points. You don't get there by luck, by the way. That is because you deserve it. And any other season, you'd probably be on that anyway. So, but the rest of the league, for me, is a bit weaker this year, no doubt.
What I will say to Comp, this is where I always say to people, right? So have a look down at the bottom of that league. Southampton, they can grab points against anyone, and absolutely anyone. Any away game in the Premier League stuff, we know it. Me and Igal watched our team go grab a point at Southampton. Even if you just look at Southampton's individual players, how many of us would take Romeo Lavia? I'm sure all of us. Gladly.
probably.
You could go through every team in the Premier League and talk about star quality. And the best way to equate it, Leeds, who just survived, we spoke about him earlier on. Right winger Rafinha goes signed for Barcelona for 50 odd million. Yeah. And they take him, and he's one of the best players in their league. Ruben Neves linked with Barcelona, struggling Wolves team that are fighting against relegation. There's talent, and there's the level that the Premier League is at is ridiculous. And what Jamie said here, and a lot of people, it's a fair argument when people say, but look at how Real Madrid, look how many times they've won. Look at the European teams. We don't win the European trophies as much. There's more European trophies in La Liga, but that's because the league isn't as strong. And the reason we suffer in European competition is because of the competitiveness of our league, because we are exerting a lot of energy throughout. This is why Liverpool last year, and I'm giving you guys credit, and Jamie knows this, I've done it all the time. The fact that you competed in 4 competitions and made it to the depths of it was out of this world and unseen by anyone. And it's not a shame for me, because then you'd have had the greatest achievement ever, that you didn't compete, that you didn't win that. But look at the toll it's taken on you guys now, physically and mentally. Real Madrid have been poor really this season in La Liga, but they still might end up winning that league.
A lot of teams. For me, it's not just the Premier League either. It's the Spanish league, it's the German league. I actually think the quality of football around Europe is not as high as it used to be. Personally, I think
nostalgia is killing you, man. No offense, but
I'm 41. I remember a lot of football. To be fair, I remember
the nostalgia of people will say to me, this is what happens in a lot of sports. People will say to me, 90s basketball when Michael Jordan was better than this Steph Curry throwing threes. But the reality is, some of those guys in the 90s were not actually as athletic or as fit. So in football, same thing applies. Some of the guys who were the best footballers right now would absolutely blitz people back then. It's just the physicality has changed, or some of the things have changed where you now see more criticism. There's so many different outlets for people to give their opinions. This Manchester United team that you're talking about, that you're saying was not as good as last year's, or is not that good. The reality is they're just as good as the Tottenham team and Arsenal team that got top 4 last year, and they're just as good as the Chelsea team last year. The only difference is last year's team is not being looked at under the same microscope as this year. Every single season that you're in is going to be considered the weakest league or the weakest season, unless something magical happens where everyone is at the top of the league, is the top 6, and they're all competing for the league. That never happens.
One more thing.
I was only saying that because I think Barcelona are they top of the La Liga.
Yes.
And they got
Man United
smoked by Man United. That's what I'm just saying. I just don't think the quality around Europe is as high as it once used to be.
One more thing. I've only got a little point, and then you guys can tune in. Yeah. Look at the managers in the Premier League right now. Julian Lopetegui is a Europa League winner. Is managing Wolverhampton Wanderers. Look at Unai Emery. How many times has he won that Europa League? We don't even know. And he's managing Aston Villa. Look at the top: Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, Antonio Conte struggled at Spurs. See you later. Off you go. Money, but that's the quality. But the money has brought and raised the quality up. That's why Brighton can get Villarreal's left back, who was playing in the Champions League last season. Do you know what I mean, guys? Like, he's playing against you. I
do love the fact that Brighton got a Villarreal winger, and Tottenham went and got a Villarreal. And Tottenham went and got a Villarreal winger.
Can I quickly jump in, Gail, before you ask the question?
I was just going to ask the comments. Alex, explain to me what's not true, because you said something's not true. I want to know what you mean.
I think he was talking about football it's being weaker now than what it used to be. But to Jamie's point, it's just a quick thing. Just to Jamie's point, he is right that the leagues have gotten weaker, because we spend more time talking about what the pundits are talking about and the dodgy decisions that the referee and VAR is doing than actually the football being played in the league. I know we have got some good football playing sides in the leagues, and that I'm not knocking them at all. But to be fair, the only reason why the Premier League is really exciting is based on the pundits and based on the dodgy decisions. We spend more time talking about dodgy things happening in the game and pundits talking about this and pundits talking about that than we actually go, do you know what? That was a brilliant game of football. Probably happens once every couple of weeks and we're like, oh, that was a good game. And that's normally against like a Man City playing Liverpool and Arsenal playing this team. It's normally the top teams playing each other. Other than that, we don't sit around saying, oh yeah, that West Ham Brighton game was good.
Brighton. Bro, you've watched Brighton.
You're
this
talking
season.
about 1 year, bro. I'm talking about overall in terms of since the last like 5-6 years. It's not been that great, really.
We'll probably go see how good Brighton are next season if they qualify for Europe. You know, that'll give us a barometer where we are with everything. But look, let's go to Liverpool. Me and En's got a chat about Liverpool. I want your opinions, guys, on Liverpool as well. So, everyone knows that the last couple of days on my show, if you haven't watched it, go back to it. I actually punched my Jordan Henderson book over to the other side of the room. I was that upset with him. This Liverpool team right now, I've just been reading Jamie Carragher. Even Jamie Carragher is starting to question Jurgen Klopp ends. He's even starting to question Jurgen Klopp ends. I know you've been questioning Jurgen yourself a little bit this season.
I've been for ages, but I'm not listening to that Muppet, bro. Like,
no, I hate Carragher.
I'm not listening to him. I'm not going to say I hate him, but he's a Muppet, bro. I just think every time there's a talking point, he feels that he needs to be the first one to do it. When he became a pundit, the first thing he tried to do, like when Neville became a pundit, he didn't really try and throw Man United under the bus. He kind of like backed them throughout. And then when he realized, like, I can't be biased, I'm a pundit now, I got to be on both sides. Carragher has never learned that side. He just jumped straight into
Neville never learned that either.
No, but he sometimes criticizes them at the right times and he praises them. But when he first started, he used to praise Neville.
I prefer Neville over Carragher.
I prefer Jamie Carragher. I think Jamie Carragher is very fair, and I find him to be a little weird how much he loves Everton as much as he loves Liverpool. It's weird.
No, it started from when Virgil said he wouldn't have him in the team, and he just got butthurt by that. And then from that point, he just every time he gets a chance getting asked about Liverpool, oh no, they need to do this. Oh, they need to do that. They need to move that.
Wait.
When did you become a manager?
He questions you guys a lot.
No, he does.
Yeah. He always going at us in the media, especially in the written media as well. If you read it in the written,
it's like Henry personally. As much as he's one of the biggest Arsenal legends, he has nothing nice to say about Arsenal until this season.
No, that is true. To be fair, that is true. But look, this Liverpool team, man, it's killing me. It's killing you. I've had enough. We've got Arsenal, obviously, Sunday. It's going to be a massive game. Klopp has to change it up properly, ain't he? I watched his press conference earlier, man. It was the most depressing press conference I've ever seen in my life. I haven't
watched it.
He said he saw more passion and intensity in the Chelsea game. I don't know what he watched. Because if Havertz had a shooting boot, it would have been 2 or 3-0 Chelsea. What's going on? What is actually going on? Let's talk about Jurgen. Let's talk about Jurgen. Not a lot of people hate talking about Jurgen because you've got the Kloppites, the Church of Klopp, and they don't like anything said against the man. What's happened to Jurgen this season? Has he come? I've said it before. When you have world-class players that get to a world-class level, they can drop off eventually, can't they? They're world-class and eventually they drop off. I personally think the same happens to managers. I think you see that with Mourinho a little bit. Mourinho was the elite of the elite and he dropped off a little bit. Still doing his thing, but not as high as he once was. Are we looking at Jurgen in the same way? Is Jurgen dropping off a little bit? Has he been at the club too long?
Maybe, bro. You probably get bored being in one place for too long. But I don't think he's dropped off as a manager. I just feel that his stubbornness and his philosophy needs to change. And I think that's what's really dragging him down. I don't think it's his actual managing ability. It's just that we can see from the outside, and obviously none of us are managers, so we can only speculate and talk about it from what we've seen. But all we're asking for him to do is just change the system, change the way we play, because teams have figured out how we play. As long as we change it, and then we've got some very good players still in the team. I know they've not been up to par this season, but it's only 7 months ago we was challenging 4-4. So they haven't got shit overnight. They've just, probably just bored now of the same information, same way of playing. Okay, when I receive the ball, I play it long. If I receive the ball, I'll pass it to you inside. This guy can't turn on the ball. I just think that they're bored and fed up with the same tactics, the same system. So for him, I don't think he's lost it as a manager. I just feel his stubbornness is what's killing him at the moment. And it's just how long does he want to die on that sword? Does he want to keep being stubborn throughout the rest of the season? For me personally, if he just changes the system, changes the formation, run with something different. Just before the World Cup, we started playing with a 4-2-3-1, then we changed it to a 4-4-2 diamond. And then it started becoming a bit more exciting because remember that, as I said, the table that they were showing, I say just before the World Cup, they were talking about big chance miss. that's now gone. They're not talking about that no more. The reason because we any clear-cut chances anymore. And the reason why we was creating clear-cut chances is because he's changed the system. We played with a second striker and we played with the 2 up top with the 10 in behind. He's changed that completely back after the World Cup. He changed it back to the 4-3-3, went back to stubborn Klopp, and then it's now just affecting the whole squad. So now, personally, I don't think he's lost it, but who am I, bro? I'm just a guy from London, bro. Who knows?
Look, I'm the same as you. I've been saying it for a while. Klopp is very stubborn. We can see that this team needs changing. We actually have the players to change it, in my opinion. I'm going to put something up on the screen right now that would be a bit. If we played this against Arsenal, I'd be actually pretty happy about it. But he probably won't. So that'd be the team I would actually play against Arsenal. Let me get it up here. So 4-2-3-1. That'd be the team I'll play against Arsenal. Everyone, firstly, what you might notice, everyone who's on the Liverpool side here, everyone in their right position would help.
Why is Carvalho playing?
Because Carvalho, why not, Igal? We have tried everyone, and I do not want to see Henderson. I do not want to see Henderson ball. Thiago, if he's fit, for me, is a defense. Is a perfect in a 4-2-3-1. Him and Fabinho is that base there, perfect for me. I think they've only ever lost one game together playing that way together. Gakpo actually playing on the left side of the wing or in midfield where he's meant to play would be beautiful. Salah on the right, and then Darwin actually in his actual position would make a beautiful bit of sense. And then Carvalho, for me, we have wasted the first year of Carvalho. We have wasted his development. If Liverpool didn't want to play him in a 10, I don't know what Liverpool do. They saw him playing for Fulham behind Mitrovic in that 10, doing great things in the Championship. There's definitely a good little player there. There's no doubt about it. We went and bought him. We don't play a 10. I don't know what to do with the kid. You know, it's balmy. For me, I'll just give it a go because you'll probably agree with me. What else we got to lose, man?
I was going to say something on Klopp before you did that. But this team right here, if Jota doesn't play, I'm laughing.
I don't want Jota to play. I can't stand him.
Why is that?
Salah scores goals against you guys as well. Núñez scored in his first game against you guys as well.
But we won the game against you guys when
we can. Yeah, that's all right. We already know. That's why I said the league's only interesting because of dodgy decisions and pundits, bro. We already know what happened at the Emirates, bro. We don't need to go over it.
Wait. You're saying dodgy decisions?
I'm just stating it because if we go into it, it's going to be a long conversation.
God, let's not go.
I'll leave it. Also,
man just falling
the whole
over for touching his foot.
Klopp lost his charisma.
Yeah, I agree.
And his communication skills have diminished, it seems. Like, because it seems like he's not getting the message across to the fans. He seems like he's not getting the message across to pundits.
I don't think that's the case, bro. I don't.
And nowadays, he seems like he's always triggered by genuine football questions. He seems triggered.
Bro, if you get asked the same question 3 times, you're going to be triggered.
No, but I'm seeing them ask simple football questions
bro.
For the first time in the interview, and then he's losing his mind.
He's like, every minute, what's going wrong with your team? Oh, we're just not playing well enough. But what do you think is going wrong with your team? Bro, I just told you. Are you asking me again? We're not playing well. Like, what do you want me to do? Tell you the tactical setup? Do you want me to tell you how we should play, and then everyone else?
Let me ask you this: Does he feel like a little bit like his press conferences are unbearable to watch? Does it seem like at times he's very loyal to players that he shouldn't be loyal to?
Oh yeah.
Does it feel like at times that you guys, if this was any other manager, you might not be as willing to give them this much leeway? Because I feel like he's going down the same route as Arsene Wenger, and I don't feel like that's an insult. I'm just viewing that as a comparison that I can make based off what I've seen. And people are quickly going to get defensive over Klopp. I'm not criticizing him as a man. I'm not criticizing him as a coach. I'm just criticizing what has been happening this season. And what's happening this season, he deserves criticism.
No, which he has definitely been given. I don't know if you obviously spoke to other Liverpool supporters, but definitely from our side, we've definitely criticised him. But at the same time, this is what I'm saying about the media, bro. They will transition because he's been such a lovable guy in the league for so long. People are going to chip away at your armor, try and find ways and try and trigger you off. Because if you're just happy and everyone loves you in press conference, it doesn't really sell. We need to find a way for you to say certain things so we can put that up as a headline. And that's what they've been trying to do this season with him, trying to dig and plot and prod and try and find different weaknesses in terms of him as a person. Like, so I don't think it's his charisma has dropped. I just think the guy is fed up of being asked the same questions in different ways. And if he answers it and you're not happy with the answer, you're going to ask again. And then he's going to do like 5 or 6 other shows. And then they're going to ask him the same question he just answered. And then everyone's going to make their own assumption based on what he said. If he said something, he's being literal. So take it as is. But people don't want to do that.
Let me say this about Klopp, because there's 2 ways to look at it, right? I know I can see the chat is quite split on him in that sense, and I can imagine why. Because like when you're in turmoil, that's when division usually does cause. But Jurgen Klopp has changed teams at Liverpool before already. Let's not forget this. Even if I don't even need to go back in the early Liverpool days and that early resurgence and change from these very first days. Look at it from when you won the league, that midfield compared to last season's in the league. You are much better at playing against low blocks last year with Thiago in there, being able to play most of the games. Your system was a little bit different in terms of how Mane was operating. Look at him in a false 9, coming into those central areas a little bit more. Not so much of a reliance upon Firmino as you were when you did win the league. I did see little nuances and changes. I think a big reason is the biggest factor is how many competitions that you were in last season. That's taken its toll mentally and physically on a lot of the players. But the issues will come for Jurgen Klopp if he doesn't get, when I say backed, I just mean in terms of refreshing the players within the squad, getting different profiles, because I've seen enough tactically. Whereas that's the difference, I would say, between him and Wenger. Wenger, great. I love the man. You know what? He's has had more impact on my life than my own father has. That's how much I love him. Right. But he didn't adjust tactically. There was a combination of him not being backed, also losing his best players every season. That is also there. But I didn't see tactical adjustments. Let's not forget, I rewatched the first half last night of our game. Can you remember what was your attacking? Can you remember what system that you set up in that game? Because I instantly thought it was a 4-3-3 because that's what you guys have been doing.
We played 4-2-3-1 against Arsenal.
Yeah, it was more like a 4-2-4 essentially.
Yeah, it all went to shit when the Diaz injury happened. That's when it all went to shit. You didn't just have Diaz injured though. You also got Trent injured, and that's a big. Trent. You know what? Those are things that are added, and Arsenal did adapt, and we changed tactically in the second half, which able. So there's multiple factors, but I've seen enough from Klopp that he can develop tactically. Man, it's just if he's not backed, then you might need a replacement. If they board aren't willing to back him in a way that he needs, which he's going to need more backing than if he was able to bring in a new manager that would have fresh ideas. But because it's Jurgen Klopp, you can't. You got to back him because of what he's done for you, in my opinion. It gets another year for me, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? This forget about Arsene Wenger's situation. This whole situation is very tense. It's the fan base I'm looking at. Your fan base don't know what direction your club's going in. You want to get rid of the owner. It brings me back to Kroenke out protest, Arsene Wenger out protest, and everything else. It's just forget about Klopp for a second. Forget about the club names. Do you guys ever see yourselves getting to a state where you're going to be seeing fans protesting out, getting Klopp out, fans protesting, getting the owner out is already happening? But in unison, can you guys ever get in unison and try to get one of those goals?
I don't think it has to be something monumental for that to happen with Liverpool. Roy Hodgson was really the last real time where the club came together monumentally and wanted some change to happen. I just don't look. The FSG thing is, yes, big up. I know Kurdish, got the plane going over Anfield and all that. So big up Kurdish for that and all that. But the Anfield crowd, still to this day, you don't hear no FSG out songs. You don't hear no protesting on the streets. Yes, it's all over social media, but social media.
LeBron out.
Yeah, the social media, and they're going to the game crowd are two different entities. You know, it's
Yeah.
two different entities. You know, it's like eating in Pizza Hut and taking it away. I only learned today that they're two different restaurants. Never knew that. And it's totally two different entities, and that's what the FSG out crowds are. I didn't know if you guys knew that. I only learned that today.
It's been
I
there
only
for a
learned
minute.
that today. It's like, what the fuck? I don't eat pizza though, so I
That's
don't
why
know.
it costs so much more.
The restaurant's nice. The restaurant's nicer though. Before you carry on, Jamie.
Yeah, that's what everyone says, but I don't eat pizza, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, so that's what the FSG out crowd's like a bit. It's massive on social media, but the going crowd at the moment, not so much. I don't think this fan base will ever go against Klopp. It would take the biggest fall. I even think Liverpool could get relegated and there would still be people there backing Jurgen. I honestly do. He has got that much. I think Enzo would probably agree with this. He's got that much respect with his football team. But
He's split the fan base, to be fair. Yes.
yeah.
From what I've seen, I don't obviously know every Liverpool fan, but the majority that I know, it's kind of split. Some
50-50.
people prefer to keep him, some people want him out, some people don't mind the owners, some people want the owners out. It's just split.
Yeah, it's totally split. But let's go into this game. So, boys, I want to know, Eagle, where do you think Liverpool can hurt you on Sunday? Now, I had that team up, that 4-2-3, 4-2-3-1 team. If Thiago does play for us, which I've got a feeling he will, I'm hoping it is a 4-2-3-1 because Enz is probably with me on this. We don't want to see 4-3-3 where Thiago's got to run around with Henderson and Fabinho in midfield.
No chance.
So you'll go annihilate yourself. That's the case. So, but where do you see us hurting you? Where do you see the weaknesses? Obviously, we know the weaknesses for Liverpool, but where do you see their main strengths in hurting you guys?
I think you guys need to bypass the midfield completely and just go through the wings. Try to make Martinelli and Saka work a lot by having to track back and try to maybe target Ben White. Try to maybe target Ben White that space there, because Ben White is the only non-traditional starting 11 player that's going to be in this game. Everyone else, you can pretty much say the majority of them
Do you mean Rob Holding?
What is it?
That's a cute. Whoa.
Rob Holding. Yeah.
I was going to interrupt, but I thought, let me let you go.
I meant Rob Holding.
Ben White. Ben White's been cold still.
If Ben White goes too far, I meant Rob Holding. I don't know how I mixed up the two. That's ridiculous. That's a howler.
Wash your mouth.
That's a howler. Listen, forgive me, but the actual tactic should be try to exploit Rob Holding, because we've had weaknesses before in our starting 11, and where we lost was Rob Holding making a mistake against Tottenham. Rob Holding versus Man City, we had to sub him off at halftime because he got an early yellow card. If Rob Holding gets an early yellow card and majority of the rest of the game we're playing cautious, he's not going to be able to be as aggressive. And depending on who you play as your center forward in Nunes, if he's somebody who's going to try to stick close to him, turn him, and have himself one-on-one against Ramsdale, that's where you're gonna catch the most joy, personally, for me. The rest of the players, if you play through the midfield, which you guys tend to not do, that's a disadvantage. That's an advantage Arsenal. If you guys try to go toe-to-toe with us, that's advantage Arsenal. But if you guys sit back, take your chances, and when you get your chance, play quick down the flanks and get it to Nunes one-on-one against Holding, that's where you're going to score.
What I will say, and what I'll add in terms of that, the danger in, because our midfield, I think as a system, our midfield, is going to work better than yours in terms of the intensity, the physicality that we have at this moment in time. But Anfield will raise the intensity of yours. Like, your away form has been shocking because you do miss the Anfield crowd giving you that extra bit of energy. But Thiago is going to be massive. Whether he starts, right, he will impact on how we press even you guys, because Thiago is the only one in that midfield who is press resistant. And our press is on a ridiculous level. It's not as intense as yours. Your guys is very intense, whereas we set traps in a way, a bit more like the methodical side of a press, what Pep Guardiola has, and we can cause you danger there with Ødegaard, Xhaka, Partey, and then even when Zinchenko jumps in. Our fullbacks are the ones that press the opposition's fullbacks. So you will see Ben White up against Robertson or Tsimikas or Zinchenko even up against Trent Alexander-Arnold. But Thiago what I watched in that first half, I watched the rewatch of it. I encourage every Arsenal fan to do it, or even Liverpool fan, because that was your best. Like, I thought you were really good in that first half. Every time you was breaking through, it was through Thiago, playing little balls around the corner. He can play on a 360. He's the one that will be able to get it into the front line and then try and cause us problems down them channels, in particular Rob Holding, if he is starting. Although Arsenal fans have received a little bit of encouragement from Mikel Arteta's press conference today when he said he hopes someone's back in training, hint that it's going to be Saliba, most likely is. And yeah, so, but I know what the second part is going to be. And yeah, the second part of the question, but I'll let you, my guys, go for that first.
So, and look, for Liverpool, does Trent Alexander-Arnold play?
Oh, he's starting off. I thought he was going to ask
Yeah,
me.
I'm going
Jesus
hardcore.
Christ,
I'm
bro.
going straight for it. Because we know Martinelli up against Trent is always a nightmare. But to be fair to Martinelli and any other fullback, Martinelli can do that to a lot of fullbacks anyway. So
if we change the system, yes. If we don't, then no.
Yeah, if it's 4-3-3, I don't want Trent.
If it's 4-3-3, and I don't, and this is the issue. It's not because I don't want him to play because I feel Martinelli will do good against him. I just don't want him to play because the system we play allows him to be too exposed, and he's always getting stick for it. No matter what, if he defends well, we give him stick for he's not attacking, and when he attacks, we give him stick for not defending. So
he can't win.
It just is what it is, bro. I can't win with him. But if we change it to the formation I would like to see, 100% he starts. Look, if you're going to ask me the other question, where do I see us hurting Arsenal?
Yeah, go on.
I think the Zinchenko side, because when Zinchenko goes into help out in midfield, it creates a lot of space over on that right-hand side. And if Mo is on his game, if Mo's on his game against Zinchenko, it's going to be a long day. I think White on the other side, Ben White, he's been cold, man. I can't even knock him. Whatever you want to call him, a fill-in right back, like he's made that position his own this season, and he's defended well, and he's getting the goals and he's getting assists. I actually sat down and watched one of the games the other day, bro, and I was like, oh my, like he's cold. Like I know he's a centre back, but he's playing right back and he's enjoying himself there. But I think down the left-hand side, and I think if Núñez starts through the middle, you guys will be in trouble as well. Because I think he's that type of player that doesn't. If we play with like a Gakpo or a Firmino that goes to the ball, that's when the Arsenal midfielders can crowd us out and win the ball in those areas and then play their sharp 1-2s and get out. But if we play Núñez and he'll go, when we play Núñez, because of his movement, it will allow the defenders not to stand still. And that means they're always going to be running back towards their goal. But if we play like a Gakpo, he's going to come short all the time. They can see everything in front of them. As a defender, you love when it's all in front of you because you can see it.
Especially
as soon as you have to turn and run. Yeah, as soon as you have to turn and run, it's a long day. So I think Núñez should start through the middle just because of his movement.
It's got to, because we haven't got an out ball. Darwin is our out ball. Look, we know Arsenal's pressing midfield. Arsenal are great at pressing the opposition's midfield and swallowing that pressure up. But Darwin's an out ball. And I know people might laugh at Darwin and stuff like that. I think he's getting better as the season goes on. I don't know if Klopp completely trusts him, but his pace and movement is frightening. And him as an out ball, I don't care who you're playing up against, he will cause trouble. Mo against Zinchenko will be one to watch. That is probably the battle. Ben White's been tremendous. He's probably the best right back in the league this year. I'll give him his credit, man.
Really well.
You know,
I agree there.
I mean, he looks like a contestant off Love Island, but man, to be fair to him, he's been tremendous. He has been tremendous this season. Will he stay at right back next season? I don't know.
No, he won't.
He probably will.
I think he will, yeah.
He'll fight for his position. I think he'll fight for centre back.
He reminds me a bit of Jamie Carragher in a way. Ben White.
Bro, Ben White's been ridiculous. Like, this season, not just overall. I think he's got the profile to do that. He's got the energy. He overlaps Saka. He overlaps more than Zinchenko does. I'll tell you that.
Guys are too obsessed. I think people are too obsessed with what your natural position is, because at the end of the day, some of the greatest players in world football, their natural positions were not what they ended up being known for. We all know Maldini as a center back probably because we're younger, but Maldini started off as a left back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some of the greatest players in football, they changed their positions. Ashley Cole was a winger. He wasn't a fullback.
These man
Most
already know
wingers
that.
turn into left back, though, innit?
But these men already know that. Who's their right back right now? Was he a right back in the academy? No.
He's a
No,
midfielder.
it was
Trent.
a midfielder, bro.
Don't get me started on that.
No, but
No, it's crazy, Tariq. Because when
I'm just gonna say
we
one
say
more
that he
thing.
can go midfield, man, them says, nah, he can't. Like,
The-
bro, this way played till he
the-
came in the first team.
The height of a center half, the speed of a winger, the touch of a midfielder, the ability on the ball is there. He's able to get assists, he's able to get forward, he's able to overlap, he's able to get in goal scoring positions. At this moment in time, Ben White is showing us what we haven't had from a right back since, I would say, Laurent, since Sagna days.
He's look at what John Stones did last week, guys. John Stones, that's what Ben White can be, then can have that same similar influence as well. It's still early on, man. Into
I don't think I think he might be giving Ben White a discredit. I don't think he's much off John Stones now, to be fair.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's
I
what I'm
think
kind of
50
saying.
million was a bargain.
John
Do you know what it is?
Can be operated in so many different ways, and that's what Ben White can be. He's that versatility. He can give you so many different options and how he.
Do you know what it is though, Tariq and Miguel? Yeah, the reason why I was saying he will fight for his position at centre back, because I'm thinking, why would Arsenal go out there and try and buy a right back or a centre back? And what one's going to be more expensive to kind of get? And if there's any decent ones, if you already got pretty much a decent centre half there in Ben White, I think the better position is to go and try and get a right back. But that's just in my opinion anyway.
We are after a right back anyway. That is correct. That's what that Arsenal are looking for, a right back. But Ben White's versatility in his way, it's a bit like Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu started left back against you. And he played a lot of games. I think he's played more games in the Premier League at left back than he has at right back this season. But he played literally the whole season, a whole first half before he got injured at right back. So this is why I'm very confident of Arteta in terms of his knowledge and how he can operate tactically and understand players' profiles. But hey, we may even see another player in this team right now. You might even see another transition from Ben. Ethan, who knows what if Emile Smith-Rowe, if he gets fit again, what position he's going to play.
Yeah,
there's so many different transitions and how he's operating. No one saw Arsenal. Even when we were playing really good last season, we weren't playing the same way tactically as we are now. So
No.
I also think you guys are going to set up differently when you play us. I don't think you guys will set up in it. I think you guys have probably witnessed all the other teams that's knocked us and then turn up to Anfield and got smoked. So I think you guys will turn up going, don't want to really leave too much space in behind, but we're going to have to respect them, but understand we're here to go and get 3 points. I don't think you guys are going to go there and think we're just going to try and run the show the whole game.
I think we're going to do what Brighton did.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Right. Let's do this. So we're going to do something a little bit different. So what we're going to do is sort of a combined 11, but what we're going to do, we're going to pick 5 Liverpool players and 5 Arsenal players and then debate against the missing one. So what we do, me and Enz will do the Liverpool players, the 5 we think will go in this team, and you guys obviously will do your 5 Arsenal players, okay?
Yeah.
Right, what would do?
So it's like 5 must-haves. And then
yeah,
it's kind of a disservice, bro, because everyone's gonna go with this narrative for this season. So
I won't.
No, that's what it'll be like. I get it. It's all right. Just throwing it out there from early.
Hang on one sec.
That's all right.
For some reason my thing stopped. Hang on one sec. There we go. Right, that there, and then that there. Right, I'm going to spin a wheel to see who goes first, okay? I'm going to spin the wheel to see who goes first, right? Hang on, let me... So you can see it, I'll take this off the screen first.
Yeah.
So people don't think I'm cheating.
Exactly. I don't want to see no inhaler business here. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want everyone to think I'm cheating and stuff like that. Okay. Right. Go spin the wheel, okay? Are we ready? See who goes first, right? Spin away. I won. Top Gun Maverick is a quality film. Everyone go and watch it.
Yeah. Do you want to be tactical or do you just want to pick best player?
Go on. You go first, bro. I'll let you go first. I'll be tactical. What do you think?
Right, what formation are we playing? 4-3-3?
4-3-3. Yeah.
4-3-3. We both play 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Save midfielders for last, okay? I'm gonna go Bukayo Saka.
Ooh.
All right, that's your first player.
Do we pick our 5 then? Yeah. So
No, we go. So you get. You can either.
do I get one or
Don't
you
we
get
go
one?
one by one?
No. We go one for
Well,
us now, and then one for them.
one by one.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
I think what we should go for is the obvious one. Alisson Becker.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Ends you all right with that?
Fair.
Yeah. No, because I want to be tactical as well. But go on, throw him in there. We already know he's the best goalkeeper.
I've got to have Alisson in this team, no matter.
Yeah,
what.
no, he would get in there. These men would never even choose other guy anyway. So
Go on then, guys.
What are you saying?
Shall I go obvious again? They went obvious, so I'll go obvious. Odegaard.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
I
Anyway.
would have picked him as well.
Yeah, I'm all right with that anyway.
Yeah.
How do you spell his name? How do you spell Odegaard?
O-D-E-G.
Jamie, if you just type in,
A.
Oh, hang on, I ain't put it there.
if you just
yeah.
type in Arsenal,
O-D.
type in Arsenal, bro, and then all of their players will come up.
Oh, does it? Okay. Let me just do it. OD. Is it ODG? There we go.
O-D-E.
Just type in
Okay.
Martin and then it would have came up, no?
Yeah,
G-
that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's true. Right, let's go Liverpool. I don't know
Don't put
about
him in
you,
the middle,
Ends.
though.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, Ends, but I'm gonna go Salah through the middle.
we're
Fair
gonna
enough.
shoehorn him in. Is that what we're gonna do?
He plays through the middle sometimes. He can play. through
Yeah,
the
no,
middle.
here he should obviously be over Saka, but obviously these guys have already picked him. But
So then,
Yeah, go
Salah
on.
gets
Yeah,
in there as well.
yeah, go on, throw him in.
Right, boys, up to you now.
Go on, EG.
I don't think they would dare put somebody else. No,
course we
you know
would.
what? They would. I'm gonna put Martinelli in because
Right, where did you say put Arsenal in there in the squad
Mar-
title?
No. Yeah, no. In the when you're searching, so click on
just
the
type
player.
in
Click on the
M
player. On over,
M-A-R.
yeah,
Oh,
click in
right.
there, type in Arsenal, and then they'll
Oh, right.
and then all
Because
their players will come. up.
imagine if they tried to put Nunes in this team. I think that's criminal.
Who said?
Martinelli. Where is Gabby? There he is.
Where's
Where is he?
Martinelli?
Look how
No,
There he is. There we go. Right, Martinelli. Right, go on. Ends, you can have this one.
Jesus Christ, put Virgil in there, bro.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I know these men they're just gonna mug him off, so put him in there before they.
Is he left-sided or right?
Yeah, he's left-sided.
So Saliba or Gabriel? What are you saying?
Me. I think it would be perfect if you had Gabriel next to him.
But
Yes.
Saliba is actually right-footed.
Yeah, I know. But Virgil could play on the
We
right.
can shift. Yeah, we can shift
Yeah,
him. If it makes you happy.
Virgil. If because you ain't got a left-footed centre back, that's why he plays left side as well. Like if they had a left-footed centre back, I'm sure he'd play on the left. On the
Okay, so
right.
put Virgil there on the right. I'm very particular with the balance.
It's not Football Manager, girl, bro. It's all good.
It's all good leaving it like that. It's all good leaving it like that.
If this team was together I'd reckon it would be Gabriel and
Yeah, so put Gabriel Magalhaes.
yes instead of Saliba. Yeah,
I never say his
Gabriel,
name
yeah.
right. You know, how do you pronounce his last name? People say I say some random thing.
Magalhaes. It's Magalhaes.
I say Magalhaes. I'm like, what?
I think I was with a gal last week, and I said I thought Gabriel's been better than Saliba this season. So.
I
He
agree.
has been.
I agree.
Jamie, put Trent. in.
Post World Cup, he's been a monster.
Yeah, is that what you did?
Yeah, yeah, go.
I
Bundle,
love
right, bro.
I absolutely I love Trent. I do.
Right, this is your
No,
last.
I love Zinchenko, but the reality is, if a midfielder from Liverpool gets in this team, is criminal. So let's put Xhaka and Odegaard, then you guys can get Robertson.
No. What's wrong with it?
That ain't happening.
No, I ain't gonna. Because then the argument will start. You ain't trying to throw that tactical. We're more tactical than that, bro.
Shaka, did you say?
Yeah.
You want to put Xhaka in?
Who did
Is
you
that
say?
who you
Sorry,
want?
who did you say?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm down with Xhaka. Because then we can argue midfield and left back.
Right. Okay. Shaka has
Why
been
not
great.
Partey?
this
And
season.
if Partey had been.
Oh, it's
Partey,
too late.
Xhaka's been better today.
It's
Partey's
too
gonna
late
find
now.
his way in this team eventually.
It's too late now. Right.
Baller.
We're debating
So
on
this
left
is-
back.
So this is where we debate left back, Robbo or Zinchenko.
Zinchenko, no question.
Right, give us your reasons for Zinchenko, guys in the chat vote as well.
Zinchenko not only has a case to be one of the best left backs this season, but he has a case to be one of the potential signings of the season. Obviously, Erling Haaland's doing a madness, but what Zinchenko's been able to do, transforming this Arsenal team, allowing us to have more control in the midfield. At the same time, build up play from the back is a lot easier with him. Also, defensively, people always question him, but the way the system slides in, Ben White almost becomes a de facto right-footed center, a right-sided center half, with Zinchenko moving so forward that at times you'll find him in the right back position, in the right wing position, scoring goals against Leicester, contributing to assists against teams, breaking the line from almost a right midfield position from left back, and just the overall contribution that he adds to the team from defense, midfield, and attack. Yeah, I feel like it has to be Zinchenko.
All I heard was one season wonder. That's all I heard.
No, he won the City.
One season
he
wonder.
won the league. He won the league.
We're talking about Premier League winner. We're talking about Champions League winner. We're talking about accumulating one of the most highest assists from left back in the Premier League. We're talking about a player that we bought for 8 million, transitioned to world class level. Zinchenko ain't on that world class level yet. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's not world class yet. And for you to try and argue the case for one season is crazy to me. This guy, Robbo, has been doing it for 5-6 years at the top level.
Okay, I have to say this. Everybody who signs for your club this in one season is one season. But he has been doing it at Man City before he came to Arsenal.
No, he wasn't their main left back, bro. Come on, let's not do that.
So one second. So when you sign Thiago, were you going to say he's a one season wonder? Because in my opinion, he's never been he never had one good season at Liverpool yet.
Okay, so back to your point, he was never the left back from the only reason why he got in that left back, because we already know what happened to a certain left back.
Who?
Or else he would not have been playing left back.
Who?
Mendy, bro. Mendy was Man City's left back before what happened to him, and then they had to use Zinchenko. So let's not.
Are we allowed to mention that?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why I didn't want to go into it. We're not talking about what happened. We're just saying the reason why Zinchenko got into Man City's team is because a certain man couldn't play left back.
And
We're talking about world class to okay.
I don't really care about how he got to our team. I don't really care about anything about that. I'm just telling you based on this season and based on what you asked me about what he contributes. That's what he contributes. He's somebody who in this team will allow us to have more control. Will allow us to be able to have more control over the midfield, contribute more in the attack, or maybe as much if you don't want to say more. But defensively, he's not. With Trent playing as right back. With Trent playing as right back, it's going to be a little weird.
No, okay, I get it because they're both probably not as good defensively, but Zinchenko is not good at defending at all. He's a good football playing player. Don't get me wrong.
Do you see this? Do you see this right here? That's an absolute myth. You know that is a myth that's been busted. Nah, do you know why that's all right? Tell me who's bad in this season. Tell me.
That's the thing though, because Trent will play like 13 games, get bad up by one man, and then everyone says, he's shit. That's the same contrast.
But listen, I don't say Trent's that bad. Bearing in mind, Zinchenko is actually better. Who wins more aerial duels? Zinchenko.
Then what? Robbo and Zinchenko.
Zinchenko is the highest. Bro,
this season. That's why I said it's going to be biased if it's done for this season.
Listen,
that's fine.
But people, I hear why people say that because I used to say this about Zinchenko as well. Ends, trust me. But I promise you, someone who watches football, and I'm fair. I like to think I am fair. Zinchenko is much better defensively than what people say because
he's not better than Robbo defensively, though.
No, but what I'm going to say now is right with Robbo and with because people used to tell me that Tierney's better defensively than Zinchenko, but if you actually look at it statistically, right, and facts, that's what we're working with, Rafa Benitez style facts. Yeah, he's actually better,
right,
and this is why. But this is the thing. But people, this is why you need to understand. And do you know why he allows us and why he's better defensively? Because he's better on the ball. What's the best form of defense, man? Then.
No, I hear you, bro. But this is why I said he'll be biased.
Hold on, but it's going to be when we're picking Robertson and Zinchenko. It just depends on what aspect you're coming from. If you're a Liverpool fan, of course you're going to say Robertson. If you're an Arsenal fan, of course you're going to say Zinchenko because both players are, when they're playing well, are vital to how their team plays. That's facts.
Here's the problem, though, Tariq.
My strategy didn't work. Can we replace Partey with Xhaka?
No. Stay where you are, bro. Because I knew this was going to happen.
If you've been calling Simic, I mean, I remember last season. I remember a year ago, Mandem were calling for Simicas over Robertson, West Ham away, Liverpool.
So the reason why
what happened to Simicas?
Nah, he's all right, bro. The reason why I call for him because I think he's just a better footballer in general. But if you want to talk about the left back, obviously Robbo's done it for a lot longer. So I can't knock the guy for having a bad season.
What's this based on, though?
What, for winning all the trophies that he's won and being consistent?
Is this based on this season or is it based on how we doing this team? What are we basing this team on? Because we're not basing
that's why I said if it's based on this season, then obviously other players will get in. But we're doing it off of our pick. You try to be tactical with your Saka pick. I was tactical with my Trent one. So that's why I wanted us to go down to the left back. There's no way you're telling me Zinchenko gets in over Robbo.
Bro, you've just said Simicas.
No, bro. I'm just saying I wanted it, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna allow Zinchenko to get in over him.
Do you know? While you're debating this, I've just been looking at something, right? And it's actually I was looking at Gabriel Martinelli's stats, yeah, because he's a left winger, right? And
he said he's Simicas better than Zinchenko.
So I didn't realise this. So Gabriel Martinelli's played 29 Premier League games this season, yeah. He's got 13 goals and 3 assists, and he's a natural left winger. That's his position, yeah? We all agreed that he's a natural left winger.
Yeah.
Darwin Núñez, who's not a natural left winger, is a striker, has played 22 Premier League games this season and got 8 goals and 3 assists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are we? I think a lot of fans out there and a lot of neutral fans actually underestimate the impact Darwin Núñez has actually had this season in his debut season. And he's not even a left winger. And they're similar ages. What are they? 22, 23, both of them?
I think Darwin's a little bit older, but I rate
Martinelli.
I'll rate
that. Do you see with stats sometimes they skew our vision, bro. Eye test tells it all, bro. We know Martinelli's better in terms of
I like Martinelli as a player. I think Martinelli is a fabulous player.
Yeah,
what I'm just saying is that I think a player that's playing out of position to have them stats in his debut season, I think it's actually pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, I think
considering how young he is.
Let me ask you guys this: team of the season right now, you got to pick Robertson or Zinchenko.
That's not.
Right? If I'm picking my team of the season, Dan Burns at left back.
I'd pick Dan Burn as well.
Man, there's a Zinchenko disrespects, man.
Bro, come on. Tariq, Miguel, come on, guys. You've been watching how well this guy's been playing.
You want to know what the funny thing is? Man City's best left back right now has been what do you call it, Nathan Ake, and debatably has been one of their best players this season.
Oh, yeah.
Zinchenko was keeping him out of that position
because he's not a natural left back, bro. So you can't.
Whenever Cancelo was not playing there.
Well, we're not using that, bro. He was a centre back, so we're not using that. He's converted left back.
At the end of the day, the position that we're using there, it depends. What do you guys want? Do you want a traditional left back? We go Robertson. Do you want a left back that's inverted?
Or you can put it this way: they sold the guy that you're saying that's good, and now they're playing a guy that doesn't actually play left back at left back.
No, because he punched Pep.
Fair enough.
What?
Punch the coach, you're gonna get kicked out.
A lot of people in here are saying about Gabriel versus Canate.
What?
So it's a decent battle, but unfortunately, I had this conversation with Enz, bro. Canate just doesn't play enough. Unfortunately,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
He don't play enough. He's a quality player, wonderful, but I'm sorry, I want availability, bro.
Let me ask you guys this.
That's what.
What has Thiago done this season to merit a midfield position?
I'm just because it's Thiago.
Nah, it's just that's all. Bro, if this is this season, if it's this season, bro, there's Alisson's the only one that can argue in this.
Yeah, Alisson and Salah. If we're doing a real combined 11, the only two getting the most Salah and Alisson. That's it.
Yeah,
and if we're doing a combined 11 based on your peak to now, I don't think Thiago even gets in.
What are you talking about? His peak was when we
even last season.
He played well last season.
He played 25 games. He played 25 games.
Played cold in them games.
I'm not doing it based off GA. I'm not doing it based off GA, but I'm just asking: has Thiago actually lived up to the billing at Liverpool? He hasn't.
There's two things now because you have to look at it add context to it. He's not played in his natural position at times, and he's been asked to play different roles in the team. And also, his first season he came in, the team was struck with like loads of injuries. So we never got to see the best of him there. Second season, obviously, you saw what he could do. Dominated games, control games. You saw what he could offer. And then this season has just been obviously picking up loads of injuries, and the team's just been dead. So I don't think we can knock him. But Klopp needs to play the guy in his best position. This guy's got this guy running up and down left wing. Then I saw him in the 10 the other day when he played. I'm like, bro, this is crazy, bro.
Definitely, I agree with that. I
know,
agree with
man.
that. Right,
Okay, can you
decide
put Partey in the team just to make some balance?
right
You okay
to
with that,
decide
Kyrie?
to decide this left back role. We're gonna spin the wheel.
Bro,
Right.
this is doing a disservice as well, but I hear it.
Yo, Jamie,
It's the only
is it
fair
okay
thing.
if we change Partey, Xhaka for
No,
Partey?
we're not. Don't listen to him, bro.
hang on. That's
No,
the
you
wheel
pick Xhaka, bro. The world heard you say Xhaka is better, bro. Like, leave Xhaka in
Nah,
there.
you
I-
didn't say Xhaka's better. You just say
I didn't say Xhaka's better.
nah.
first.
Oh, good catch, dude. Good catch.
To be fair, the Partey, he's probably been the best DM in the league this season, so you have to give him his
It's
credit.
about time, bro. This injury prone guy.
Right,
What
Zinchenko
about
and
Thiago?
Robbo.
We had one season as well. Do you know what I mean?
Go
You
throw
guys-
smoke where I can, bro.
Yeah. Right, guys, to spin the wheel then. It's the only way to make this fair. Let's do it.
He
Right,
has to take a
Zinchenko
dig. I like it.
versus Robbo. Let's
Come
go.
on.
I like this site. I'm gonna use it.
Fuck it.
Wait, bro, send him.
You know what they say in basketball? You know what they say in basketball? They say ball don't lie. This
Listen.
doesn't lie.
Listen, we should have had it anyway. We're top of the league, for goodness sake.
The algorithm
Listen,
paused it on my side. So I don't know.
The algorithm.
like the great Rasheed Wallace said, ball don't lie.
Oh, don't lie, man.
The table doesn't lie. Okay.
Yeah, enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Leicester City settings. Enjoy it.
Listen, you want to know something? We can say the same
Oh,
thing about your
God.
league.
It's
Enjoy it, man. Enjoy
it's
it.
all
You know
good.
what?
They're
Their
calling us
league has a
Leicester,
bigger
but they've
case
got
for
one.
Leicester.
They've got one as well.
You
know
know
what I mean?
something?
It's calm,
Their
bro.
league title has more of a case for a Leicester season than ours because no one was close to
It's
it.
true. Yeah.
Sorry, bro. Just enjoy your Leicester season, bro. Just enjoy it, man. It's good.
You know what?
It's not a
bro?
dig, bro.
I
Leicester
don't,
played well.
I don't want to. I don't think you want to go this route with us.
Yeah,
Bro,
bro.
you guys played well, man. You guys are doing well. Enjoy
You've
it.
been doing good for 5 years. You've been respectful. You know what I mean?
Been respectful.
Look what Jamie's done. This left back position has now caught us to catch fire. And also this is what-
Listen, Jamie, please put Thomas Partey in the team, just in case you want to tweet this out or something.
I'll put Partey in because, to be fair, he has been like a decent, ain't he? So
Nah, Jamie,
Yeah.
so what
Put
would have happened if we
Thiago
did
up.
this
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year?
Yeah.
we did this last year. I don't
None of
think
them
we'd
would
be
get in the
it.
team.
No, but
No,
There you
to
go.
be fair, Bukayo Saka's getting in the team on the left, or Martinelli. Somebody's getting in on the left.
Can I ask you a quick question? With Saka, you doing it through the eye test or we doing it by GA?
Nah.
You do?
bro.
What do you mean? He both.
It can't be both because our left winger's got more GA than he does.
What?
Okay,
No,
what do you
right,
mean?
Salah.
Who's
Nah,
your
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
asking. Are we doing it? If we're doing it eye test, I
Nah,
understand.
One
Bro,
second.
No, we just.
Are you talking about Martinelli or
I
Saka?
can't, bro.
relax.
Ed,
I'm sorry.
Ed,
Talking
You
about
watch,
Saka?
Sorry, bro.
You watch football.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry, bro.
You watch football.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm
One
sorry.
second. One second. One
Chris is bringing
second.
the
Are we
fire.
talking about Saka or are we talking about Gabriel
I'm
Martinelli?
sorry.
Nah, he's talking about Saka.
Wrong question.
He's
Sorry,
talking
wrong
about
question. My
Saka. He's talking
bad.
about Saka.
what,
Okay.
Saka,
Let me ask you
Saka and
this.
Salah.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this. Where do you stand on the Saka and Rashford debate?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Saka,
Saka over
Saka.
Rashford.
Saka's my
every
guy,
day.
man.
Okay, but
We all
then,
rate. Right, we all rate Saka over it.
but
don't
then,
worry.
just
but then,
asking the
but then
question.
you guys get sucked in on the Hazard Salah debate.
No,
I
I don't.
don't give a shit, to be honest. I don't
Salah's
give a shit,
just
to be
well.
honest.
I'm just
I'm
asking.
too old. To be fair, I'm too old for all that, and Enzo's just on the wind up.
All I asked was, listen, all I asked was, are we doing the eye test thing or are we doing the GA thing? Because for one, everyone's knocking Salah saying he's been dead, which he has been, but his GA showing that he hasn't.
I got 40 GA within.
That's because of your league position. That's because of your league position.
Salah's not dead, but Salah. But this is it. We talk about two different. Like I'd rather have Saka in my team, but who's more dangerous? Mohamed Salah, of course. Like it's like Rashford and Saka. Yeah. It's like when people do Rashford and like, bro, come on, who's a better footballer? Like who's better overall? Who you have in your five side? Of course, it's Saka.
You want to know something? I blame myself. I blame myself for getting sucked into these debates because the reality is, Bukayo Saka's priceless to us. Like,
yeah, now he is. He wasn't saying that last year though.
I was.
No, to be fair,
I was saying this before we were any good.
Bro, I've got his name on the back of my old last year's shirt, so bro, don't worry about that.
To be fair,
I still refuse to put any player's name on the back of any shirt.
Nah, Saka.
But this year, I would.
Yeah. Okay, can I phrase it differently? Let me ask the question different. What do you guys think of like people dissing Mo?
No, I have to go pray.
Go on. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
5 minutes.
We know that's important. Yeah, do your thing.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to go. But yo, Jamie, honestly, love for having me on, man. This has been a blast. Yo, you know who you remind me of? You remind me of an Arsenal fan I know. Are you Portuguese?
Who, me? Oh, Jamie.
Yeah.
No, I'm Jamaican, bro. No.
Who are the Portuguese?
Jamie Phillips, Portuguese.
What?
Listen,
I'm the whitest man.
Hey, listen, the girl just threw the question out there, bro. I had to make sure because I don't want to assume. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to assume.
Anyways, yo, Jamie, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna need to clip up one of the parts of the show. That was hilarious.
Yes,
You got me later. But yo, big up, guys. Honestly, thank you for having me. I'm gonna catch you at 10 o'clock, man.
Yeah, see you later.
Take care, man.
See you later. There we go. Big up to you, man.
Big up, bro.
The Portuguese geezer.
The Portugueser. That's what you should call it.
Portugueser.
The Portugueser. Oh man. No. But now on the Mole thing, because I remember talking to Enz about this, right? Nah, man. I think Mole, the reason why we haven't seen the best of him is once again because of what's happening around him. Like the fact that he's produced this output is ridiculous. People were criticizing Mo Salah when your team was good. So he's always going to have haters like that because of just how he is. He's not the most functional, like in terms of he's not efficient with his because he misses plenty of chances or makes the wrong decision. But the fact that he keeps getting there all the time is a problem, man. So yeah, and that's because he's that good. Trust me, I rate Mo.
So right, let's finish off here. I forgot to get Gal's prediction, but what's your prediction, T?
Goals in this game. Yeah. Although we have been very good defensively away from home this season, Anfield's different, bro. So I think I'm confident, and I'm nervous and confident because of our record, but I think we're going to win this 3-2.
3-2, same score line as the first game.
Yeah, same score line. Yeah.
I think this might be quite an entertaining game in a weird way, and I think the Liverpool. I've looked at our fixtures ends, and they're quite kind after this game. But we need to win this game. We got Leeds and Nottingham Forest after it. Then we're away to a terrible West Ham side, and then we're at home to Tottenham.
So we got Arsenal that beat us. We got Leeds that beat us, and we got Nottingham. Cool. Yeah, it makes sense. They're favourable.
But you know what I mean. I'll take a draw. I'll take a draw with them fixtures coming up.
Jamie, I always want to win, bro. I don't draw to me is like losing, bro. I do not like dropping points at all. And I know we've not been that great this season, but a draw to me is a loss, man. We need 3 points, and we're at home, so we should be going to get the 3 points. So for me personally, I'm gonna go 3-1 Liverpool, man. I'm not gonna go against my team.
Yeah, I would take the draw, but I'm going 3-2, the same as T, but I think it'll be the other way around this time. I think it's going to be a weird game. I don't know why. It's Sunday. Look, it's Easter Sunday. It's the day of miracles, and Liverpool need one. So
hey, Jamie, as long as VAR is working properly, we're good because we understood in the reverse fixture, we understood it wasn't working. Couldn't see man offside. Couldn't predict if it was a handball or not when he blatantly did. And then when a man touched the bottom of a next man's foot, all of a sudden he started throwing himself all over the place.
It was a game of army decisions. There's no doubt about it.
Hopefully, if it's working well, yeah, we should be all right, man.
Yeah, Anfield, you've had pretty nice decisions as well. You know what I mean? So let's not forget them. Yeah, those who live in glass houses shouldn't fall asleep.
All right, guys. Big up to everyone joining us today. Much love. Thank you very much. Big up to the chat. Big up to T. Don't forget to go and subscribe to T. Let them know where they can find you.
Appreciate you, Jamie, man. It's always great chatting with you. It's been a long time, and big up my brother Ends each and every time, man. It's been a pleasure chatting and finally getting to talking Arsenal and Liverpool. But guys, you can check me out over on Tariq Talks right there. If you just type in the name TEREAK, you'll find me on YouTube and Twitter and anywhere. It's been a pleasure. I usually do like cheering on Liverpool, whoever they play against the big sides, but you know, I still hope that you make top 4. I know it's a big shout now, and I'm not too confident that it will happen. But hey, any top 4 over Man United or Spurs all day long. So yeah, big up each and every one of you.
Go, my man Ends. Tell the people.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate the invite as well, man. Good to chop it up with your girl yourself, and obviously Tariq as well. You guys can find me at Ensman TV. Just jump over, man. Subscribe. We're on that road to 600. So fingers crossed we get there by the end of this month or so. So any subscribers or any love you guys want to come and show me, head over there, subscribe, and then check out what we've done and what we're going to go and do in the future. But appreciate everyone as always.
Big up yourself as well, okay? Thank you for that.
There you go, guys. Go and subscribe to these great guys. And don't forget to subscribe to myself. We're 300 off 4K now. So just get subscribing, sharing out the channel and all that good stuff, guys. So big up to everyone coming in. Much appreciated. Everyone, enjoy your Easter weekend, whatever it is you are doing. Make sure you have a good and blessed one. And big up to everyone else. And we'll see you